Stranger Things Season 3. Does it live up to the hype? Let's head to the Upside Down and talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So today we're going to be talking about Stranger Things Season 3. It has finally hit Netflix. The wait is over, and I am super excited to give you guys my thoughts on the third season. So as you guys can see, I am a pretty big Stranger Things fan. I put together this little background for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. It was definitely a little bit of a pain setting it up, so hope you like it. But like I said, I've been a big fan of this series since, it first came out. I remember reading about it like a magazine before the trailer even hit, and then the trailer hit, and I was, pretty much hooked from there. So I've been a big fan of the show, so I will give you guys that kind of going into this review from a fan's perspective. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about Season 3. So, Season 3, pretty much it starts off with, you see someone is trying to reopen the gate to the Upside Down. So it's still in 1984, so it pretty much is picking up right where Season 2 kind of leaves off, or not too long afterwards. I won't tell you guys who it is who's trying to open it up, as I will. This is spoiler free, but someone is. And then from there, we kind of have a time jump, and it goes to the summer of 1985, and that's where things kind of pick up, and we get reintroduced to all of our characters. Now we have, Mike and Eleven. They are now dating officially, and it is driving Hopper nuts, which is something that is really funny in this season. He is playing that overprotective dad. He really doesn't care for Mike, at least to start off with the season, because he's so protective of Elle. So there's definitely some funny moments with that. You also have Lucas and Max. They're still going strong. You have Dustin, who is coming back from summer camp, and supposedly he's met up with a girl while out there and says she's really pretty, smart, but no one really believes her because they haven't heard from her or anything, or seen her yet. You also have, Steve. He is now working at Scoops Ahoy with a new character, Robin, who joins them. She's a nice addition to the show. You also have Jonathan and Nancy. They are working at the Hawkins Post, which turns out to not be the most ideal job. You also have Joyce, from last season, losing Bob. She is, trying to kind of pick up the pieces and move on. There might be a little bit of a budding romance with Hopper, who knows, but she's still trying to figure out things. And then you have Billy, who ends up crossing paths with the latest evil to kind of step into Hawkins this season. And then Will, he is, he's not really sure that the Mind Flayer might be gone after all. Maybe he's back. So we pretty much, we get to kind of catch up with all of our different characters. One of the things I'm going to say, too, is that, holy crap, I know, obviously, everyone grows up, but, man, the difference between Season 2 and Season 3 for these kids, it's these kids grew up quite a bit, and, that's something that I think they're definitely going to have to worry about going into Season 4 and Season 5, if they have a 5. Just because, it was 2 years from the last season, so they definitely got to figure something out. So Season 3, it splits up a lot of our group of characters, so they kind of get split up into different groups, and they're kind of doing their own thing for a good part of, especially the beginning of the season. So all of them pretty much have a mystery or something that they're trying to solve that they don't realize is all part of kind of the same thing, which is neat, and ends up connecting at the end by the end of the season. So it's cool to get to see the characters kind of doing their own thing, but then eventually they do end up coming back together by the end of the season. As far as the comedy goes for the season, I feel like that's something that they definitely ramped up a little bit, which I know some people could be a little bit worried about that, and feeling that it might be a little forced, but I don't think that's the case here. There's quite a bit of funny stuff, like I said. One of the things being Hopper being kind of the overprotective dad. I think the whole chemistry between Steve and Robin, there's some really funny moments there at Scoops Ahoy. And, as well as a bunch of the other characters as well. So a lot of comedic moments to balance out the show, because something else I'll mention is that this is, while there is a lot of, fun and kind of playful moments in this season, this is definitely, I would say, has some of the darkest moments of the series so far, and also some of the goriest scenes of the series so far. There's one in particular that happens like later on that I was like, yeah, that's pretty nasty. So it was definitely, I feel like they had a good balance between the two. As far as performances go this season, pretty much solid performances all around, from all of our characters that we've grown to love. As far as like some standouts go, I would say Billy is definitely a standout this season. Last year he kind of came in and was just kind of that douchebaggy character, and while he still has that a little bit in the beginning of this season, his arc definitely comes, or story definitely comes full arc this season, and I think you guys are going to like the payoff as far as his character goes. So it's pretty crazy what they've been able to do. Steve was another example of this, him starting off in season 1 as kind of a douchebaggy bully character, and ended up completely changing come time, like season 2. So they do a really good job of, kind of really expanding on characters, and you might think they're a certain way at one point, but then, they end up completely changing, the next. I also think Robin, like I said, played by Maya Hawke, she was a good addition to the show this season. She has some, like I mentioned, really good chemistry with Steve, and so she's a really cool character. I think she's definitely going to be a fan favorite with a lot of people. And I think just, as far as the characters go, the relationships, that's really the heart of this show. Obviously the nostalgia and stuff is cool, but if this show just relied on nostalgia, I don't think it would have made it to season 3. The reason why people keep coming back is because of, the relationships between these different characters and the interactions that they have. We're all so, heavily invested in these characters, and it's crazy just getting to see them grow up from seasons 1 through 3. So definitely good, solid performances all around. And Stranger Things does a really good job with developing and writing its characters. So I feel like they did a good job with that again in season 3. One of the new kind of plots in this season that I won't go in again into too much detail, but the Russians, they do play a much bigger role in season 3 than they did in the previous seasons. They were kind of briefly mentioned in 1, hinted at in season 2 again, but they definitely have a much bigger role this time around. And it's an interesting little storyline that they have. It definitely, I feel like it expands on the whole, Stranger Things universe, steps outside of kind of like Hawkins a little bit, and opens that up. So I'm definitely curious to see as to what they're going to do with that, going forward. Are they going to continue to expand and make this world bigger? That is something that does make me a little bit nervous, just because, sometimes if you expand too big, I feel like you can sometimes forget certain things that, made the show work in the first place. So really curious to see what they're going to do. But I mean, so far the Duffer Brothers have done a great job. So I feel like, the show's in good hands. As far as like the Russian characters go too, you have like one character that stands out in my mind. He's pretty much like a tribute to like the Terminator, and definitely some funny moments with him. Then you also have another character that Hopper likes to refer to as Smirnoff. And I think that, and I've already seen some people, really, really like him, but I think he's going to be another kind of fan favorite for this season as well. So quite a few different, new characters coming into this season. And again, the Duffer Brothers just do such a great job of introducing the characters, but not only introducing them, but making you care about them so quickly. So they do that again with this season. So overall, as far as season 3 goes, I really enjoyed it. I will say, I was kind of nervous going into the season, and I don't know if it was just because of the wait, it made the anticipation even more. All the different marketing and merchandise that they had for the season, it was crazy. I feel like there was like, collaborations with all kinds of different brands and companies and things like that for Stranger Things. It was literally like everywhere. But so I was a little nervous going into this season. But I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. I still don't have a definitive, I would say, ranking of like, seasons 1 through 3 of kind of which one's my favorite. And just because they're all pretty close to me, I know some people didn't like season 2 as much as season 1, but I like season 2. I don't know if it has anything to do with kind of the Halloween focus on it, just because I am a big like Halloween person. But yeah, I liked all the seasons. I feel like season 3 is a worthy addition to the series. If you're a big Stranger Things fan, I think that you guys are really going to like this. Some of the different characters that they bring into it, but just some of the different, areas and storylines that they kind of explore in the season. I think that people will really appreciate, and long-time fans will really enjoy. So I highly recommend you guys check this out if you haven't already. If you have checked it out, make sure to go ahead and let me know down in the comments, what is your favorite season, seasons 1 through 3, and what's your favorite moment from season 3. If you do, mention any spoilers, just make sure to put like a spoiler tag, just so that way other people, if they do, they kind of have a heads up. Want to give everybody a chance to check out the new season. And as always, guys, if you are new to the channel, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the notification, that bell button next to it as well, just so that way you get notifications for all my upcoming videos. And as always, guys, make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.